Uh-huh.
I think that definitely helps factor into it. You know, knowing that like, okay, this could be the last Terran of a tournament really adds a lot to the mix.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe if Terrence was dominating, I wouldn't think the same. It's all brainwashing.
No, but you're right. It does change. Like, I mean, mine's it might have been TVZ from through and through, but I mean, there are other matchups that have been more or less interesting. Like TVP when it was Storms and Zealots was a hell of a ride to watch. But now
Mm.
that that's kind of fallen off and gone back to Colossus, it's very, I don't know, it's standardized and less interesting, I guess. But
I also am a big fan of individual players a lot more so than the races
oh
too.
yes, 100%. You give me an MMA, it doesn't matter that he's Terran. It's just like, oh, we got MMA in this game.
Yeah. And I wet myself a little bit every time Zest plays well, like he did today. And yeah.
Yeah, he was the first one to get through, I think, right? That was like just as I was going to
Yes, he
bed.
was.
Kira was playing really fantastic too. A lot of people were not expecting him to knock out Maru 2-0, but that happened. Ugh.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. He didn't do well at all today.
Maru is kind of like, I don't know, the qualify, like he's I think someone in the Team Liquid thread wrote like he's like an offline player more than an online player, and I would agree with that because you see him in these qualifiers all the time, just cheese a lot.
He, um, let's be fair. As good as Mora is, he is absolutely one of the cheesiest little boys in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a cheesy little guy. Every game, two barracks. He cheeses a lot. I remember speaking to MC at WCS not long ago, and he was getting angry at the way that everyone was so, or not angry per se, but he was like, I don't understand why everybody is cheering for Mora all the time. He's the cheesiest player ever. I was like, can't really disagree with you there, mate.
I think a lot of that though comes from the strength of Korea. I mean, they're just like Koreans in general are way more aggressive. So I think the logic is like if they can win through trees, why waste a 20-minute macro game if you can win it in 10 minutes with cheese, right? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's always been one of the biggest strengths of good Koreans is they understand the game so well is they see clear opportunities always at the right time
yeah.
to just end it there and then. They always have killer instincts.
Well, I gotta say though, like as much as Zombie Grub gives me so much crap for this all the time. Like, obviously love watching Koreans, top tier play. There's no question of that. But my favorite region tends to fall a lot with the Europeans too, and not just because we're casting the tournament. I'm trying to cater to the crowd, but you point out too. It's like sometimes player hype can be so much more interesting than like two nameless TVT Koreans are great, but you give me Haswabs versus I don't know Jakshi or something like that's gonna be such a fun series to watch.
Right, because you can identify a lot more with the players that you know.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with these brackets though, man. Zanster and Cyril both allegedly have opponents, but neither are in a game. The vetoes are taking a million years, I guess.
It's the way of open qualifiers, really. That was the thing that we did different today with the InTouch Stream Masters qualifier, because usually it is a lot more just very relaxed, a good 8+ broadcast, but it was all structured today in the way that we did our stream. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, and then because all the other games had to wait for us rather than each round per time,
Yeah.
so it was a lot smoother and easier that way.
I know some people were not happy with that. Like Hurricane voiced some concerns in chat, but I like that. I like that we got to join in. That was actually really awesome because we don't get to do a lot of the Korean stuff. But that was pretty fun. I have an
Yeah.
invite though from one. It's Zanster. Okay, so Zanster versus Kas. Just go ahead and Kirkister.
Little hurricane. He doesn't understand. Some of these guys, man, they just don't get it. No, I'd rather just play my game fast as possible. No, you have a chance to be on stream and everyone's gonna watch you play. No, I just want to play games.
Get some fans, right? Like
Jesus, man, like we're trying to help you here. Go for a little walk, man, for half an hour.
Yeah, the thing is too, like it's especially with last night, like that was a reasonable time for Koreans. You understand when it's like 4 a.m. for them, they want to get the game going. Okay, sure, but
Yeah.
that was like what 9 p.m. I think ish around there when the tournament ended for Korea.
Yeah, it wasn't that late at all.
Yeah. But okay, guys, Kas versus Zanster. Oh man, I'm gonna say these names all stupid and funny here for this match, but let's go set the bets up for this too, so you guys can get these in before. Get your imaginary points on with those partoofs.
How do your bets and imaginary points work?
Basically, you can bet, like, as you watch the channel, you earn points every 5 minutes just for being in the channel. And if you type like exclamation mark bets one or exclamation mark, like for example, right now, because Cass is option 1, if you type like exclamation mark bets 50 and then 1, it put 50 points on Cass. And if Cass wins, it just divides all the points that Zanster had bet on him amongst the people who bet on Cass. If we do multi-betting, it gets more complicated and stuff. But yeah, we use the points to facilitate giveaways and raffles. So, you know, the Base Trade TV t-shirts we got, or like Steam games that we give away, it's all done through the point system. So it's not sub only. We can reward anybody for watching, not just subscribers. Is kind of the goal of it.
That's cool. That's cool.
But okay, the beeps mean the countdown's begun. We're actually gonna be starting on one of the newer maps, guys, going into Nimbus. This is the one that's kind of like Ultra Zoom. We'll talk about it more once we're in game, and we'll see you all in just a moment.
Hell, it's Base Trade TV.
Well, that was abrupt.
Epic intro into victory.
Yeah, I didn't see. What did he type? Was it the wrong map, or? I didn't see what he had typed before leaving the game.
I wasn't looking. I was actually looking at my phone.
Okay. By the way, just unrelated, thank you for tweeting about that so I could retweet it. It's like, I don't know, breaking a arm and a leg trying to get somebody to do that sometimes. So thank you, Apollo, for being an awesome co-caster. Gosh.
Yeah, man, I'm just programmed to do that. I sit here where the other guy's doing all the hard work. I'm like, all right, well, I'm on my phone. I guess I can kind of help. I have a Twitter app. I can use this.
I'm contributing. Oh, let me suggest you to the game here. So we get into this guy. So, looks like it wasn't a map. I don't know what the issue was, but Cass versus Zanster. Once again, resuming on Nimbus. So same map, same situation. No idea why we remade it, but we remade it. So little couple extra seconds to get your bets in before you close them as game 1 begins, and we'll go through the intro once again. So as soon as they're ready, we're ready.
Hashtag production value.
Yeah. It's like the only thing we have going for us. Everyone else is like fame or like players. Like, we got map intros. No big deal.
Good. Did you make them yourself?
Yeah. Well, I work with Flamga does the map file and I do the editing for it, so it's kind of like a team effort.
Cool. Oh, they're good.
The StarCraft map editor, by the way, is such a headache. I don't know how he does it. I've tried learning it. I get frustrated so easily. But okay, guys. Nimbus, once again. And we will have new map intros, by the way. We are working on them actively. But for now, see you in a moment.
Hell, it's Base Trade TV.
Alright, welcome back to the qualifiers, boys and girls. This is a fresh best of 3. This is Rifkin. I'm casting today with Apollo, which is kind of a nice treat and surprise for us all, but this is the first time I've got to pun with his name. So without further ado, spawning in the top left corner of the map, it's going to be the purple Terran player, Cascade!
That was epic. I definitely can't match that. I'm not as good at the intros as you. But up here to the top right, playing for Fnatic, it is the 17-year-old from Sweden. It's Zanster.
I don't know, you get more information in your introduction, so I think it kind of evens out, you know, tit for tat type thing. Cass,
so
though...
if only you put intro in yours, man, you'd be the ultimate introer.
Too much work, screw that. Put all my effort into production value here. But, no, Cass, of course...
What is he doing? What is Cass doing?
Right, this is what I'm saying. Like, this isn't an 888. This is just a gas first, a Cass first.
A Cass first.
Wow,
man.
I'm going all out with this one, but this is I don't know, versus Zerg players. If he's trying to rush out the fastest aliens possible, maybe I can understand this. But this is so weird.
It's for a really fast reactor on the barracks with the factory. It's for really fast Hellions, basically. And it should be a command center not too long after that, but it's a bit of dedication to resources away from his economy early on. And this is interesting. You don't see this very often.
Well, I mean, the thing too for Terran players, you play with a very strict resource regiment here in the early game. I mean, you're constantly just spamming that S key, trying to get that SCV out as soon as possible. You got to save 150 for the orbital. I mean, it's very planned and thought out. Later on in the game, when you're dropping mules, okay, you're the king of the world. You got 1,000 resources, go at it. But early on like this is as Paul just said, a big dedication to resources, and we'll see if this works out or not. It's worth noting too, guys. This is a 4-player spawn map. It's not cross only. It's not horizontal only. Cass is gonna have to scout on top of this.
Yeah, that's he may send his SCV or a SCV very, very soon here. But yeah, this is different. Zanster's gonna get a scout of this, not early, but it's not that late either, obviously, because he didn't scout first but second.
You know what actually might work out for this though, and I don't know if this is Cass's thought process or not. But, you know, normally when you see early Hellions coming, as an Overlord scouting it, what's the first thing you do? You throw down a full wall off and laugh as the Terran player can't break through. You can't do that on this map because the creep spread's not far enough.
Right.
Even if you get that queen out really fast, the creep's still got to spread. Then you got to get the evolution chambers down. I mean, it's a tight choke, but Cass should be able to get at least 2 to 4 Hellions in the base. And it's kind of funny because I just talked to you about, like, Fraz from MIA does this versus Tefl all the time. And Tefl, fantastic player, falls to it every time. I don't know if that'll happen here, but Zanster could be in for some trouble.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult to play against, too. Speed is going to help out a lot. He doesn't even know what he's playing against yet. He's seen that there's no expansion down, which is the Overlord's first scout. He's like, wait a minute, why is there not an expansion down? He's also got vision of the ramp, where the Hellions are going to go by. Wow, he moves away. Will he see the Hellions? It depends on how Cass sends them, I guess.
I'm keeping vision on the Overlord. It might actually just barely miss them. No, it does see them. Okay. Oh, that's close, though. That's very clutch.
Yeah, and notice how Zanster started to spine, too. He realized that something was wrong as soon as that... Well, actually, he canceled the spine. Okay.
I guess feeling confident. I mean, the link speed is on the way. He's got a couple queens. 2 Hellions are not that big of a threat, but if this was 4, it'd be a different, I think, a different case.
He needs to keep his lings alive, the 6 lings, and as soon as speed is done, then he's in decent shape against this.
Okay, well, Cass is expanding behind this, and Zanster confirms that. This is a big deal, because if this is a 1 base all-in, which is kind of hard to do as a Terran player in the first place, there's not a whole lot of 1 base all-ins, but if that was the case, suddenly he does have to invest in that spine crawler. But having scouted that expansion, he knows the command center is coming down, this isn't going to be anything too hectic.
No, and I think Cass has got to be very careful here with these Hellions. He doesn't know that speed's almost done.
Oh, stacking up the drones, though, always a little bit scary to do. Slowlings, soon to be speedlings, but the queens are dealing a ton of damage to these Hellions.
Really good defense so far. Really, really good defense.
Yeah, 1 HP on the Hellion goes down really quick. Cass gets almost nothing for his troubles, and this is such a wasted opener on a map that he could have just gone CC first potentially on. I mean, there's the what ifs and the alternatives, but this aggressive move just really didn't pay off. He got 1 drone kill for his troubles.
Yeah, and that's not good. You can see in the supply that Zerg's up a little bit more than where they should be at this point. And this is not the best of starts here from Cass. You know, some would imagine, why did he do that in the first place? And unfortunately, it didn't work out too well.
I think it's the same logic as like going for like a proxy Oracle versus a Terran player. It's got the potential to end the game, but not always will.
This would have mine.
It's a decent hit. These SUV, the Divas are up, so I mean, he's perfectly fine. I like that he tried to chase off the Overlord too. Barely couldn't get. I can't believe that's a vision blocker, by the way. Look how tiny that is.
Goodbye,
Overlord. The factory. He'll get this.
Yeah. So a decent start for Cass for sure. If you look at the drone count to worker count, you can notice that he did take a hit when it came to his income by doing this and didn't gain anything from it either in terms of slowing down Zanster. So Zanster does enter this next part of the game with a lead. And we said before when we looked at the brackets, this series is, you know, ultimately deciding who could be that first place finisher, because these are the 2 favorites in the entire of the bracket left over.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call anyone else left bad. I mean, you still got Sake and a couple others.
Right,
in there, but, I mean, these guys are just like the heavy hitters. These are the guys you expect to take it. If anyone else goes through, maybe it's an upset, maybe it's not. But Cass cranking out that tank, perhaps expecting it all in, but Zanster, of course, taking a third, not going for some sort of 2-base roach all in.
A tank makes a lot of sense too. Obviously, it's good defensively, but if you think about the location of the 3rd base that Cass is going to take, the tank can really defend it well from inside his main base, which I think is a nice addition.
Well, not to mention, too, the same sort of motif with a lot of these maps. Look over here, the path he would take to go to Zanster's 3rd. He put siege tanks up on these cliffs, and only mutas are going to have a chance to touch them. Roaches, Zerglings, they're going to have to run all the way around these ramps. It's going to be a pain.
Right. So that's definitely cool to get a tank out, as it is just one. But Zanster's doing really well so far. I mean, if you look at his economy, it's beautiful right now. Working on his evolution chambers, the layers coming in, his creep spread's actually really good for this type of game as well. And overall, a good start for the young Swedish.
Yeah, Zanster's a good player too. I mean, this is the thing you guys can't underestimate. Maybe you haven't seen a lot of him. A lot of people are gonna know Cass because he's been around forever, but Zanster, through combination go for StarCrafts, Acer Team Strike Cups. I mean, he's been taking out big name players. This is not gonna be like a what? I think the series. I mean, truthfully, this will probably be a 2-1. I just don't know who in whose favor.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Medevac production gonna finally start here for Cass as well. Something that. Yeah, not really prioritized, as mutas are always there to shut them down, but going to be absolutely necessary for the army. The more you stim, the more you're going to need those medevacs.
Yeah, I love this creep spread too. He's really focusing on key areas, which is to the top left and through the center, because this is where Cass's pushes are going to come from. So it's really good that he's spread it this far. He just needs to start working towards his fourth as well. It should be on that right-hand side, but overall, good.
Yeah, the creep spread's actually looking pretty good too. This is something that... You're always a little bit worried, like, it's kind of, you're expanding towards your opponent, not intentionally, but this is where you have to take the third. The better you get that creep spread, the sooner you can see someone like Cass pushing, and that's going to be huge.
Right.
Plus the speed.
And this, as a Terran player, you have to stop with the way that you push. You always start the push on the edge of creep, so the further the creep is out, the further away he's actually going to be from getting to you as well. It's really difficult to just walk on creep.
Yeah, buys a lot of time. There's a lot of times, too, where, like, you take that same engagement on versus off creep, and it's a completely different outcome.
Right.
For Cass as well. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot the watchtower is like really awkward with the turret in the middle of this map. But creeping on the right side, did he scout this?
Base
No,
is
but with
under
intuition,
attack.
he'll be able to kill a fourth.
Yeah, this could be good. This if he snaps that fourth, gets out, that's just a small little victory there. Zanster doesn't really want to lose this yet.
The Lings don't quite have that armor upgrade, so the tanks can still one-shot them. If that +1 completes, those Lings will be able to take a hit or two, but kills, that cancels the hatchery.
Yeah.
Oh, focus fire on top of the Baneling too. I love that snipe.
That's the one problem with this fourth base for Zerg, is that it is hard to creep spread towards, and he didn't even see that coming once he lost his Zalnoga tower.
Oh, and it just lifts over to the natural base from this. There's too many Lings top, so Cass is going to just get out of here. But this is kind of not the same dynamic as I'd say like Star Station. Oh my god, can this tank? This will be able to reach those Lings, I think. Oh my god.
Oh, so sick.
This is what I'm saying, man. The map makers had Terrans in mind, and they're
Wow.
like, let's make some cool tank locations.
Yeah, this is a really good location. You can just pick up and let the tank do damage again.
Yeah, snipes off the Queen so the Medevacs have nothing to stop them either.
Oh man, that's annoying. And then you've got the fourth base, which isn't mining or even be built yet. That's
Oh, but Cass is gonna have to get out of here now to move 0 though. I mean, this is cool, but its time is kind of up.
Yeah. Behind this though, Cass is that's the key strength of Cass is he's very good at doing attacks and drops, as you can see another one to the north. But he's also macroing like a god behind us. Like the 2-2 upgrades are already on the way. The fourth command center's coming in. And
Yeah.
these are things Zanster doesn't have.
And he goes back to the natural once again. The Mutila's attention are drawn towards that other drop. I mean, Cass isn't causing like he's not killing a lot of workers, but he's killing a lot of Lings. Less Lings, less Banelings, better mid-game engagements.
But that's one thing as well with a faster player. Even if you're not doing some things, look at all the things that Zanster isn't doing. What that Cass is. That's the most important part here. Yes, Zanster's keeping up with Cass when we look at this fights, but he's missing so much. Where are the 2-2 upgrades?
That's a good point. I mean, they're usually there before the Terran player gets their 2-2. That's kind of the nature of the game. The Zerg player gets the 2-2 faster and sits there for longer, but priority on top of the mutas. This is where all the gas is going. This turret's not going to stop these mutas. And Cass, where's his Marines? He may have been macroing like a god, but none of them are in the right spot for this engagement, so the muta's going to pick off quite a few SCVs here.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That kind of helps him out again, because it was definitely starting a landslide in favor of Cass. That was a nice move, though.
Yeah, the Wood Mines still haven't been cleaned up fully, though. These Wood Mines each have, well, this is, I can't look at this, it's dead now, but they had about 6 to 10 kills each on them. Not too bad.
Where is 2-2?
I know, this is the, I mean, if Zanster's looking to just max out and end the game with one big push, I understand the delay. There we go. I think this was just one of those things where he was over-prioritizing the mutas, because he was pumping out 2 at a time, 4 at a time. Like, every time he had gas, that was a Mutalisk, which meant that wasn't an upgrade.
And Cass is going to start 3-3 soon. This is really, really bad when it comes to the fights. The cost efficiency will easily go in favor of Cass every single fight from now.
Yeah. That's
not what...
Well, you know, though, there was, going back to IEM that we cast the other day, Cure had 3-3 versus Curious having 1-1, but Curious used his mutas to buy enough time to actually get his 3-3 before a big engagement came down. So one thing for Zanster, he does have a huge muta count. With 20 mutas, you can keep Cass constantly defending, unable to push, and that's your time to get your upgrades.
Yeah, you're totally right. He needs to utilize the Mutalist. That count that it is at is going to help out so much. Not only to get the upgrades in, but also effectively his 4th and 5th base, which are also missing.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's expanding while this is going on too. It's not just tunnel visioning, he's not just doing one thing at a time. Been getting multiple drops on him before, but now he's really the one doing a lot of things at the same time. Cass has established another base down here towards the 4th. That's great, that's fantastic. This is kind of the comfort zone of a Terran player, but the Mutalist count is getting really scary. You know, once you get 20 Mutalists is fine. Once you get to 30 though, that's when it starts getting a little bit devastating to deal with as a Terran player.
Yeah, no, you're right. The Mutalist count, once it gets to a key number, they're very difficult to stop, especially when they have +2 attack, which unfortunately they don't even have +1 yet. He's actually decided to go for Carapace here. But look at Cass's army size. Look at all these Marines.
Yeah. I mean, there's just not enough Banelings with this army. There's a lot of Banelings, but there's not enough Banelings. He gets on top of the production, though. This is every Terran player's Achilles heel. Koss is just going to say screw it and go for broke. Pushes across the map. He's going to let the mutas do what they can, but, you know, at the same time, if the mutas are at home, at his own home, they're not here to stop this attack.
This is a very good move from Zanster, and if he can get these 26 Banelings out and get a good engagement, he could make this work. The Mules have done a lot of damage over there.
They're starting to get picked off by the Marines.
Oh, he's gonna flank. He's gonna flank. Zanster's gonna flank from 2 sides.
Oh yeah, coming from the backside with Banelings no less. Widowmines are down, but can they get the hits they need? These are such Hail Mary units, but none of the Widowmines go off. The Banelings eradicate the army. Cass is left with a very small handful of Marines that are about to die.
And the Mules didn't really lose that many either. So this was perfect. If he can chase down the Medivacs, that was a great move from Zanster. Really good, because as you said, it put like Cass in this submission move where he was like, do I attack, do I go defend? And now he catches the Medivacs. This is really, really good.
Yeah, the Medivacs dying are a big loss, because for Terran players, I mean, at this point, you know, you've spent your gas on your upgrades. You're kind of thinking like, all right, just Thors, just Widowmines, but now he's got to go back to spending 100 gas on Medivacs. He doesn't even have a reactor on the starport anymore. Does he have no Medivacs in play? He's got 1 Medivac in play.
And with losing the reactor, this is bad. This is bad. But that was such a good move by Zanster to dart into the main base. It was the perfect move actually there.
This is scary. There's not a lot of Banelings though, so these Marines are a big problem. The Marauders in front of this too. Here come the second round of Banelings, but Cass, he's doing this move where he target fires down the Banelings with a small amount of units, kind of like he's going after High Templar. This is really cool to watch.
Yeah, some of the best micro can come from those fights.
Mutas are spread out though, so this Thor will not get the crazy damage it needs to. In fact, the AI playing against Koss right now is target fires Banelings instead of Mutas. But the Banelings exhaust off of Creep, a terrible engagement for Zanster, and this suddenly gives Koss that little bit of pushing power that he needed.
Yeah, I'm not too, well, I simply don't agree with that attack in there, off Creep like that. There's no real reason to do that.
Oh no. Apollo. There's 1 Medivac, which means Cass can't actually afford to stim, something a lot of Terran players take for granted.
That's right. And he's really deep on creep right now. There's no evacuation either.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Widowmites. If he can get some good hits, I mean, Koss might not be able to heal his army, but he can certainly fight with it.
Oh, he may get caught off though. He's still very far on creep.
Yeah, and it's still tumors too. So I mean, this full vision. Zanster knows exactly what's up. Creep's gonna allow those Banelings to get those connections. Marines coming for the reinforcements. Though will target fire down the Banelings once again. Koss doesn't split though. It takes some pretty heavy hits.
And the Mulists are a good number. They can kill these Marines.
Yeah, tries to pick up with a 1 low Medivac. Oh, this is so depressing.
Yeah.
I don't think he's recognized that he doesn't.
A reactor on the starport.
He could swap it with the factory. Widowmines are really irrelevant at this point compared to Medivacs, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, definitely both players are making some small mistakes here, but they're game-changing kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
The attack from Zanster in there gave Cass a really good opportunity. The lack of Medivacs that are getting replenished is also a big, problem. And Zanster's on 5 bases now, and he's got his 3/3. He's at Hive. Decent creep spread still.
Yeah, and I like what he's doing with these Overlords. He's sending them out to creep out the bases so that Cass can't keep expanding southward. Oh, there's so many games where it's not the Banelings, it's not the Mutas, it's not the Ultras that win, but it's the creep spread sometimes. And if Koss gets starved out on like 1 last mining base, that could be the end of the game before any engagement.
Zanster doesn't have that many Banelings, and they're kind of key. The Lings are not good at this stage of the game.
That's true.
He needs Banelings.
I mean, he went for that Hive tech, so he's starting to get the Ultras. This is where you start mixing in that sort of melee upgrade nice with the 3/3. Adrenal Glands even coming out, but You know what? The Zerglings might actually find a way to work because there's no medevacs. It's a weird thing to consider, but I mean, 2 medevacs aren't going to cut it. One of them's out of energy even.
Well, here's a good flank coming from Zanster. This is always right. If Cass attacks up that 4th, well, where's he going? He's looking for the 5th, maybe.
Yeah, what am I going to get a hit or 2 off on this? Nothing too crazy. Ah, this army though, so screwed. Stims to get away, but again, that's the stim he can't afford.
He's only on 2 medivacs still. There's that one in the bottom right for that drop, and then one with the army.
It's so impressive though that he's still making this work with no medevacs. I mean, this is a situation where I think a lot of other champion players dead in the water, game long over. Because spreading out, attacking the north, getting ready to attack the south. He's got Thors at each, Widowmines plenty, Marauders in both. I don't think Zanster can actually split his army enough to deal with this.
Yeah, this is a very good split by Cass. Nice movement with his army.
Yeah, really like this. Gonna pick up a lot of drones, gets the hatchery as well.
He just needs to kill the 5th. He's just got to make sure he kills the 5th, maybe the 4th. 5th is a definite though.
Oh, those Banelings coming in though, spreading like crazy. Gonna try and minimize the damage, but you know, if he soaks enough Banelings here, that army in the north will have no response to it. So many Banelings go down in this fight, and Costello's a really strong spreading army up here. There's still Widowmines in this. Marine's gonna push up the ramp. Force him in from behind with a lot of Zerglings. We'll see if this works or not. These Banelings need some perfect connections.
Yeah, even if Zanster gets a good fight, which he does take a pretty good fight here, still look at the money that Cass has, and if Cass just rebuilds with that money, he's going to be okay. He killed the
5th too. Yeah.
3rd and the 5th, so that's actually really hurting Zanster's income at this moment. He can't afford to build units.
Cass actually
just his time.
I don't know where he got the money for it, but throwing out 3 extra command centers right now. This was his plans to expand later, but the overlords that were sent to creep out the bases are all slightly off. Zanster, put your glasses on. Look at the bottom left. What the hell? Middle of the map, though, pushing with these Banelings off of creep. I mean, this is the one nitpick I have with Zanster. He's continually fighting off of creep, and that's what gives Koss the ability to get back in this game.
He has to take this fight. He has no income left. This is the one fight that Zanster must take, and he must win.
Koss has got so much production, though. 7 Marines, 2 Widowmines. I mean, the Mutalisks are going to be a problem. We'll see if this might end up being the game, though.
No, this can't be the way that he's going to get this.
Koss has such momentum.
Production.
You know what, though? Koss has production at the 3rd, though. He didn't just put all his buildings, all his eggs in one basket, so while he might lose the production in the main, he's still got production here in the 3rd.
He's got to get rid of these Mutalisks. Zanster can still win this, surprisingly.
Yeah, this is so scary.
It was the one window that he could have hit.
Koss had just spent all that money in the orbitals. He dropped all those mules. He had all this money, but no production to work with. No medevacs still too. No turrets. These mutas. Well, how does he stop the mutas?
I'm not sure he can.
Oh, he's gonna
build up a squad.
It's one of those situations. You know what? I think Widowmine hits might be the key.
Yeah, there's 2 there. If we can bring them back into. There is an overseer with this Mulus count, so.
Oh, Apollo! He got a reactor on the start port. When did this happen?
Oh, the Marines.
The Widowmines like friendly fire the Marines more than the Zerglings. That's painful to watch. Zanster's out of cash, guys. We don't have a spread of blue streaming across the map. Koss may slowly clean this up because there's no wings underneath this. Here comes the Thor. Oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, but I think Koss might hold. Yeah,
he might just hold. He's still making 15 Marines at a time. They do have 3 upgrades.
Look at these mules down here. Jesus Christ, this base is going to get mined out so quickly.
Yeah, he's got so many orbitals. That mining base, if only that overlord, as you said, was in the right spot, he wouldn't do this.
Right, and he kills the Mutalisks. Like, this money from the base is what's keeping Koss in the game right now. One base over here has been mined out. His 3rd base isn't really mining. He kills the Mutalisks. That's going to be game. Koss.
Wow. He almost lost that. The move with the army in the middle of the game where he killed the 5th and 3rd was really good. That was actually some really smart movement because then he got both bases, and even if he lost his army, it didn't matter. But he needed to rebuild them with the money he had, and he almost didn't, which is really scary.
Yeah, the thing is about that game, and I think this is the beauty of it, this is not me being negative, guys. The fact that it was so messy made it so much better out of both players too. That was so fun, so back and forth, so crazy, and there's so many instances where either player could have lost the game in one foul move.
Yeah, this is that was a good. I really enjoyed that game. That was fun.
Yeah, we looked out with this series being awesome.